She didn't say a word, but her fists delivered a message. No one will forget Welcome to the Channel, where every story hits deeper than a punch. If this one moved you, tell us where you're watching from in the comments below. We love seeing how far these moments travel. Your voice matters here. And don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss tomorrow's powerful story, one that just might change how you see the world. We drop a new tale daily, raw, real, and unforgettable. This journey is just getting started. Drop a comment. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you tomorrow. It was just another Tuesday afternoon at Brooklyn Edge, the kind of gym where sweat dripped from heavy bags and ego hung in the air thicker than the protein shakes. In the back, real fighters trained in silence. Tape, wrapped tight around bruised knuckles, their eyes locked in the mirror. Up front, the scene was different. Fitness influencers posed mid-lunge while their trainers adjusted lighting. Not form. Selfies. Supplements. Swagger. No one noticed when Emily Grant stepped through the door. At 31, standing just over 5 feet 3 inches and weighing about 130 pounds, she didn't turn heads. She wasn't wearing branded leggings or neon sneakers. Her shirt was plain white, faded soft from hundreds of washes. Her shorts were patched. Her shoes, creased, cracked, and squeaking with every step, looked like they'd survived 100 rounds in a forgotten locker. A small scar ran along her chin, barely visible unless you were looking for it. Her gloves, worn smooth from years, Vuse, dangling from her wrist like an afterthought. She didn't walk in with a squad. She didn't blast music from her phone. She just walked. Calm, measured. Her canvas gym bag hung from one shoulder, the strap frayed but still holding. Her brown eyes scanned the room, not with fear, not with pride, but with a stillness that made her presence heavy, even when no one looked. The front desk was crowded. Kyle, the lead trainer, was busy pretending to listen to a woman named Kelsey, who was furious about the lighting in her workout reels. Phones flashed. Mirrors gleamed. No one saw the storm walking in. When Emily finally reached the desk, she set her bag down gently. "Hi," she said, her voice soft, almost too quiet. But it cut through the noise like a pin dropping in a cathedral. "I'd like to register for a sparring round." Kyle looked up, pen pausing mid-signature. He blinked, took her in, her shoes, her gloves. Then he smirked. "Sparring?" he asked, his voice dripping with disbelief. "This isn't a cardio class." Behind him, Kelsey laughed, sharp, performative. "Oh, honey," she said without even turning around. "You're gonna get folded like a yoga mat." Someone else chimed in. "She looks like the janitor's sister." Another voice followed. "Bet she got those gloves from a thrift store. Vintage Rocky, right?" Emily didn't flinch, didn't fidget, didn't even blink. She simply nodded, her hands adjusting the worn strap of her glove. One by one, eyes began to turn. Not in admiration, in amusement. They saw a woman in old shoes and tired clothes. They saw someone to laugh at. But what they didn't know, what none of them saw, was that Emily wasn't there to impress anyone. She didn't come for attention. She came for the ring. And every step she took brought her closer to the moment they'd all remember. Long after the laughter stopped, the pause that followed Emily's request was short, but sharp. Kyle's pen hovered over the sign-up sheet, caught between politeness and mockery. The silence around the front desk broke as whispers sparked. People, who hadn't noticed her before, now turned fully, their faces lit with amusement. "You want to spar?" he repeated louder this time, making sure everyone nearby could hear. His smile was all teeth. "You even thrown a punch before, sweetheart?" Emily's gaze didn't waver. Her chin tilted slightly, not in defiance but in acknowledgement. "I have," she said. Calm, factual. That was enough. The gym erupted. Behind her, someone coughed out a laugh. "She's serious? Maybe she thinks this is a self-defense demo." From the back corner, a voice rang out. Loud, arrogant, dripping with glee. "Well, well, looks like we got ourselves some entertainment." Dylan Reeves, 26 years old, 6'1", 176 pounds of muscle and social media vanity, stepped forward. His gloves were spotless, his tank top clinging to his chest like a sponsor ad. He was the gym's resident showman, loved filming sparring matches with newbies, captioning them things like, "Another lesson taught." He didn't just see Emily, he saw content. "Yo, sign me up," he called to Kyle. "I'll take care of this. Be quick." Someone near the treadmill laughed. "She'll fold like paper." Another gym bro, sipping a pre-workout drink, grinned. "She even got insurance? 'Cause Dylan don't hold back." "Better call HR," someone joked. "The janitor's little sister's about to get wrecked." Emily stood still. She didn't argue. She didn't correct them. She didn't remind them that she'd heard it. All before. Kyle scribbled her name down with a flourish like he was writing the punchline to a bad joke. 1 round. 3 minutes, he said. He looked at Dylan, smirking. "Don't break her too fast. We got cardio class right after." Emily just nodded. She adjusted her gloves with steady hands. But Dylan wasn't done performing. He clapped his hands once. Loud. "Ladies and gentlemen," he shouted, spinning slowly like a circus ringleader. "Let's give a warm welcome to today's headliner, Miss PTA Boxing Club." The crowd howled. Phones came out, lenses turned toward Emily. She was now the center of a spectacle no one expected to last more than a minute. "She's gonna cry," a woman whispered behind her phone screen. "Bet she brought a juice box," someone added. As Dylan strutted toward the ring, flexing his gloves and throwing air punches for the camera, Emily moved without a word. Step by step, her shoes squeaked softly on the floor. The sound barely registered beneath the laughter, but it echoed just enough to follow her. No entourage, no playlist, no performance, just purpose. The crowd didn't know what was coming, but the moment her foot touched the canvas, something shifted, too subtle for them to notice, because Emily Grant hadn't come to prove anything. She came to end something, and that ring was about to go silent. The bell rang with a metallic clang that cut through the noise. Just like that, it began. Dylan came out hot. His gloves snapped forward, a fast jab straight down the middle. Quick, clean, flashy, the kind of punch that looked good on camera, the kind of punch that usually made a beginner flinch. Emily didn't flinch. She didn't even raise her guard. She just moved. A subtle slip to the left. Her weight shifting like water, finding its path downhill. The jab missed by inches. Dylan followed up with a 1-2 combo. Emily's feet whispered against the canvas. Right, then left. Each movement effortless, precise. The punches cut through the air but touched nothing. The crowd barely noticed at first. Too busy laughing. Too busy waiting for her to crumble. A group of gym bros near the edge of the ring shouted over. "The chaos. She's just running. Scared already." Someone tossed a protein bar wrapper toward the ring like a cheap joke. But in the back, behind the noise, 2 trainers were watching closely. Marcus, a wiry old-school boxing coach, squinted. His arms were crossed tight against his chest. "You see that?" he muttered to the guy next to him. Derek, a younger trainer, still sipping his energy drink, frowned. "She's dodging. Lucky footwork." "No," Marcus said, voice low. "That's my footwork. Classic. Tight. Clean. She's reading him." And she was. Emily's eyes weren't just watching Dylan. They were dissecting him. Every jab. Every shift of his shoulder. Every twitch of his hips before he committed to a punch. Dylan didn't notice it yet. He was still riding the high of the crowds. Cheers, but inside the ring, something was changing. He was punching air, and Emily was making it look easy. She never looked flustered, never looked angry. She weaved under a wide hook like she'd seen it 100 times before. Then came the murmurs. Kelsey, the fitness model who'd laughed first, lowered her phone just, "Little? Wait, did you see that?" she whispered. Another trainer leaned forward, eyes narrowing. "She's not just avoiding him," he said slowly. "She's setting him up." Dylan began to realize it too. His face tightened. He came in faster, harder, launching a high cross aimed to rattle her, but Emily dipped low, letting it sail over her shoulder like a breeze. Then without warning she pivoted, sharp and smooth, circling. Out of the corner, Dylan stumbled. Just slightly, but enough. The laughter in the gym faltered, not stopped. Not yet, but cracked. Like thin ice underfoot. Emily hadn't thrown a single punch. But Dylan? He was sweating. His breath grew short, his punches sloppy, and still she didn't touch him. Not yet. Because this wasn't about landing hits. This was about watching them unravel. And one by one, the people who mocked her were starting to realize Emily Grant wasn't here to survive. She was here to teach. Dylan's footwork started to slip. His breathing turned audible, sharp exhales through clenched teeth. He was fast, sure. But now, for the first time, he wasn't. In control, Emily had given him nothing to grab onto. No openings, no tells, she just moved, smooth, calculated, quiet. And the quieter she was, the louder the panic in his head became. The crowd still tried to hold on to the joke, but their voices weren't as strong now. The laughs turned into murmurs. Whispers passed between trainers. Was she just lucky? Was this all timing? Then Dylan did what every tired, frustrated fighter eventually does. He tried to end it. With his jaw clenched and ego screaming, he squared his shoulders and stepped in with a wide uppercut. He wanted power. He wanted a knockout. He wanted the clip for his Instagram. But wide punches come with wide openings. Emily saw it, her eyes flicked to his elbow. Then to his exposed ribs. Her stance tightened. Her body coiled like a spring, feet planted, core engaged. And then, she struck. A right liver hook, clean and devastating, crashed into his side with the force of a hammer. The sound was dull and like a watermelon dropped on concrete, a sound that sucked the air out of the room. Dylan didn't scream, didn't gasp. He just froze. His mouth fell open, eyes wide, like his body hadn't caught up to what had happened. Then his knees buckled, and down he went. Hard. The laughter stopped. Phones stopped recording. Even the Bluetooth speaker in the corner, still playing some overhyped gym track, sounded like background noise in a church. No one moved. Dylan curled inward, hands clutched to his side, his face pale with shock. He wasn't knocked out, but he was done. Emily didn't gloat, didn't posture. She simply stepped back, her gloves still raised, her chest rising and falling in steady rhythm. The trainer rushed into the ring. "Don't touch him," he snapped. "He's in shock. Let me check his breathing." From the doorway, a deep, familiar laugh rolled in like thunder. Everyone turned. Coach Mack, a legend in New York's amateur boxing scene, stood there with a smile like he'd just seen an old ghost. "I knew that was you," he said, pointing toward the ring. "Emily Grant, former Northeast lightweight champ. Undefeated. Fastest liver hook I've ever seen." The silence in the gym deepened. Kelsey nearly dropped her phone. One of the guys in the branded tank top whispered, "You're kidding me." But no one was laughing now. Coach Mack stepped closer, voice calm but full of weight. "You all mocked her," he said. "Called her names. Laughed at her gear. That woman in the ring, she used to end fights before the second round." People looked at each other, at the mat, at the floor, anywhere but at Emily. Because now they knew. That liver shot wasn't luck. It was mercy. The silence after Dylan hit the mat wasn't just quiet. It was heavy. People didn't know what to do with their hands. Some still held up their phones, but none of them pressed record. The energy that once fueled the room, laughter, arrogance, ego, had drained like air from a popped tire. Dylan hadn't moved. He was breathing barely, his hands still clutching his side, face pale, mouth open like he was trying to form words that wouldn't come. The trainer knelt beside him, whispering something no one else could hear. Emily stood alone in the center of the ring. Still calm, still breathing steady. She didn't raise her fists, didn't look for applause. She just stood in silence as if the outcome had never been in doubt. Coach Mack turned back toward the crowd, his voice cutting through the tension like a scalpel. "She didn't come here for your approval," he said. "She didn't need your praise. She came for the fight. And every single one of you showed your character before the bell even rang." No one answered. They didn't need to. Kyle at the front desk stared at the sign-in sheet like it had personally betrayed him. Kelsey's phone screen had gone black. Her confidence dimmed just as fast. The guy in the Cliffside Elite tank top mumbled something under his breath and walked off, shaking his head. Coach Mack leaned against the ropes, eyes never leaving Emily. "That's not just a fighter," he said. "That's a reminder." A woman near the water fountain spoke, her voice low, almost ashamed. "I called her a joke." Another added, "We all did." Dylan was finally sitting up now, his back against the ropes, eyes glassy and unfocused. He didn't look at Emily. Couldn't. Because the truth was clear. He hadn't lost to a lucky punch. He'd lost to someone who had nothing left to prove. Emily stepped out of the ring without a word. Her shoes squeaked on the floor again, but this time no one laughed. As she reached for her bag, someone behind her asked quietly, "Who is she?" Coach Mack smiled. "Emily Grant," he said. "Retired, unbeaten. They used to call her the Ghost, because by the time you saw her punch, it was already too late." Emily didn't turn around, didn't correct him. She just slung her bag over her shoulder and walked out the same way she came in, quietly, without ceremony. Just before she reached the door, she paused, turned slightly. Her voice was soft, but it carried. "I don't need you to remember my name," she said. "Just remember. This never judge a woman by her size." And with that, she disappeared into the sunlight outside, leaving behind a gym that would never mock a quiet fighter again. Not after that day. Not after her. What did this story make you feel? Did it remind you of a moment when you were underestimated? Or when you judged someone too soon? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below and let us know. Where are you watching from, and what part of this story hit you the hardest? Was it the silence in the ring, the moment Dylan fell, or the quiet strength Emily carried the entire time? Maybe you've seen this happen in real life. A woman, a man, a friend. Someone everyone doubted until they stepped forward and showed exactly who they are. Let's start a conversation. This isn't just about boxing. It's about humility, about never assuming someone's worth based on their size, clothes, or silence. So share your story, share your thoughts. And if Emily's quiet knockout left an impact on you, don't keep it to yourself. Scroll down, hit that comment button, and tell us what you took away from this moment. We read every single one, and your words matter. You're part of this journey now.